When I first got started in the insurance industry, I made the classic mistake of trying to chase everybody and sell every product to every single one of them. However, over the years, I was able to find a system where I was able to consistently bring in leads that generate over 6 figures in my insurance brokerage every single year, while also being able to live the life that I truly enjoy living. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to do that so you can do the exact same thing in your business as well. What is up, guys? For those of you new to the channel, my name is Philip Setter. I've been in the insurance industry for over 10 years, and I've been able to scale my insurance brokerage to over 6 figures per year, 100% online. If you want to do the same thing in your business, I've recorded a 1-hour masterclass, which you can just click the link in the description below and check it out. But without further ado, let's just get right into this video. So I got started in the insurance industry in about 2014. I started with a captive company, so I just had their one product shelf to be able to sell. I wasn't able to sell for all these other different companies. I stayed with them for about a year to a year and a half, and then I went and got started as an independent insurance broker with an MGA. So I had all the different carriers and all the different products on the shelf. And of course, at that point, it gets quite overwhelming. With the captive carrier, I only had a small set of products, so I was able to niche down a little bit just because, you do that by default because I only had a few different products. However, once I became an independent insurance advisor, all of a sudden I had like every single product from every single company, and it can be quite overwhelming. And I made the classic mistake of, going to all your friends, going to all your families, going to a bunch of, networking events and BNIs and all those other things. And I'm not saying necessarily that those are a bad thing. However, there's a much better way, which I'm going to show you in this video. And I tried to sell everything to everybody, which at the end of the day, just kind of left me feeling burnt out. I didn't have any leads coming in. I did make a few sales, but nothing was consistent in my business. However, in 2016 or 2017, I went to an MGA seminar or event or whatever you want to call it. And there was a carrier, there was Desjardins, that went up on stage, and they started talking about their split dollar CI policy, which, if you're familiar with that, it's just a strategy to extract retained earnings out of the corporation tax-free. However, at the time, I had never heard anything about using life insurance or disability or any type of insurance as a tax strategy. Up until that point, I was just selling insurance, how everyone else would sell insurance, to protect your family and to protect yourself. But when I heard about it as a tax strategy, something just kind of like clicked in my head, and I was like, yeah, hey, that's a really good idea. At the time, I was a young kid. I was maybe 25, 26 years old. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. And so for me, trying to connect on an emotional level to people who had children was difficult. But tax strategies, on the other hand, I was like, yeah, everyone needs to save on taxes. That makes sense. So in 2016 or 2017, I went all in on this corporate market, which is a niche in and of itself. Just business owners that are doing roughly around 7 figures in gross income per year. It's a really good place to start with some tax strategies, maybe some life insurance, maybe split dollar CI, maybe some other strategies. And I went all in on that market. I was able to partner with a tax firm out of Toronto, and we did all these seminars all across Canada, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto, to big rooms full of accountants, like 100+ accountants. And, I needed to obviously be able to understand the topic on a very technical level because I was explaining it to accountants. So it really allowed me to elevate my game and then again, go all in on this niche of business owners. And I'm going to show you later on why I got burnt out and why I think there's a better way to niche down and bring in leads into your business. But I did that up until 2020. All of our marketing for that company was seminars, face-to-face interactions, dinner events, meet and greets, wine and dine, schmoozing the clients. And when COVID happened, obviously all of our face-to-face interactions up until that point took a hard stop. Now, honestly, when COVID happened, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air for me. Not saying that I didn't enjoy the business that I was in, was making pretty good money in that. I was happy with it. However, there's two things that I kind of was looking at long-term that I didn't love about the business that I was in. The first thing was I didn't really own a business. I just owned a job. I had to be the one in front of the room. I had to be the one meeting with clients. I had to be the one sitting down and explaining things to the accountant and to the business owner. I couldn't really just automate that or replicate that or, put that upon someone else. That was my job. And so if I wasn't in front of the room doing a seminar, money wasn't coming in, right? I needed to be consistently working. Not saying that I don't work in my business now, but if I went on vacation, money wasn't being made. I needed to be the one doing it. I couldn't build systems and use leverage to scale my my business. I just had to meet with bigger and bigger clients to scale my business. But at the end of the day, it was still going to be me meeting with those clients. And the second problem that I had within this business, and again, I kind of loved the complexities of the corporate market. However, I needed to really think if that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, is do I want to niche down into the business owner market? For the rest of my life, that means that I needed to, stay very up to date and relevant with all tax codes, learn about all the things corporately, talk at a high level about corporations and exit strategies and mergers and, acquisitions and tax things. And while, yes, I do enjoy that, do I really love that? Like, is that what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I started to think, like, what type of business do I want to build? What type of life do I want to live? Is this it? The suit and tie, downtown, corporate, seminars, meeting with clients? And listen, if you want to do that, like, kudos to all the power to you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for me personally in my life, they say niche down, find a group that you can target, but you also need to enjoy working in that niche and enjoy learning about it and enjoy creating content in that niche, because don't forget, you need to do this for the rest of your life. Like, this isn't just something you're going to do once and then all of a sudden you'll see success and then you stop doing it. They say it's like, if you're going to do it one time, you're going to do it for the rest of your life. So if you commit to YouTube, for example, you're not going to make YouTube videos for a month or a year. You're going to make them for the rest of your life. If you're going to write blog posts, you're going to write blog posts for the rest of your life. If you're going to, niche down into doctors, you're meeting doctors for the rest of your life. So whatever type of marketing that you decide to do in your business, you are doing that for the rest of your life. And in 2020, when I was able to take a step back from this corporate market, I really started to think, okay, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And that's when I decided, you know what, maybe I don't, and maybe there's a better way for me in my life. Which leads me to the whole point of this entire video. And don't worry, I'm going to get into, the how-to a little bit later on here, but find a niche that you actually love doing. Find something that you're already doing in your own life and then create a group from that niche. So for me, it was climbing. I love climbing, rock climbing, ice climbing, backcountry skiing, alpine climbing, all of it. I'm super passionate about that. And, on weekends and as much holidays as I can take and, all the different time that I can get off, I'm spending it in the mountains. And so when I'm out there, I can very easily be documenting the journey, creating Instagram videos, creating Facebook videos, creating YouTube videos, taking photos, creating blog posts out of that, connecting with people on that. So I was able in my business to create a niche to the climbing community. So I sell life insurance to mountain sports enthusiasts, and it's a special product that I sell to them. And then I was able to craft a message, create a personal brand, create a specific landing page, specific products to this one specific group. And here's the secret. I don't have to do extra work. I don't have to go out and create content that I wouldn't be creating anyways. All I have to do, is grab my phone as I'm going out and take some photos, take some videos, document the journey as I'm climbing. And now I'm able to build this niche within something that I love. So think within your own life, is there something that you're super passionate about that you can create your brand around? Like, for example, maybe you love sailing. Maybe, you have a boat and you've been able to build this up and you're like so all in on sailing and you know everything about sailing, when to winterize your boat and what products you need and, how the mast goes up and the sails and all these other things within a sailboat. And now you can build a personal brand around the sailboat and people will follow you for the sailing. And then you can layer in the financial topics and attract clients from that. However, first and foremost, people are following you because you're a sailor and you're sailing. Here's the thing. Very few clients will ever follow a financial advisor or an insurance broker to follow their insurance content. Nobody cares about it. The only person following an insurance broker or a financial advisor that is just posting content about financial advice is usually just other financial advisors and other insurance brokers. Clients usually aren't following that. So if you can build a personal brand around something interesting, something that you love to do already, it could be anything, sailing, woodworking, doesn't need to be a hobby. It also could be a religion, maybe family, maybe you have a lot of kids and you're just like the dad guy, It could be something like that. Just think outside of the box and think about something that you love to do in your life that you can document and create a personal brand around. Now, once you've figured out what niche you're going to target, what demographic it is, whatever it is, the marketing becomes really easy. I mean, step one, you just build a personal brand around that specific niche. If you look at myself and my page and my, different YouTube channels and Instagrams, you can see I've just branded myself as Philip Setter, the insurance broker for mountain sports enthusiasts. So once you have your niche, you can build your personal brand around that niche, and then it gets relatively easy. You just create content, on a daily and a weekly basis through multiple different platforms. And personally, I recommend video content marketing. And I know on this channel, I'm going to be talking about it over and over and over again for video content marketing, because I think that's one of the most powerful ways to connect with people nowadays. But basically, it's like top of the funnel goes like this: build your personal brand. That's step one. Step two is then create content to build brand awareness about who you are. So if you're in a niche that you already love doing, that's just posting videos, blog posts, pictures, carousels, etc. on various different social media platforms, LinkedIn as well, all of the different platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc., where you're showcasing exactly what you're doing on a day-to-day basis in something that you already love to do. Step three is now you're going to craft a landing page and a lead magnet that is specific to that demographic. So because you understand that demographic very well, you're going to be able to craft a very specific landing page and lead magnet for that target demographic. And I'm going back to this example of sailors. If you know sailors incredibly well, you could create something like, a financial checklist for people who own a sailboat. For example, I'm just thinking outside the box here. You could create something like, hey, download this free guide to show you, the best way to buy a sailboat. Should you, buy it with debt, or should you find, or something like that? I don't know. Think outside the box and think of a lead magnet that would work for them. Create a landing page that would then speak specifically to their pain points, the jobs you're trying to perform for them, and the gains that they're going to achieve by working with you. And then step four is build that follow-up system. So once they get the lead magnet, I hope that you're working with some type of email CRM or drip campaign, nurture campaign that's going to then slowly feed them emails over time to bring them from top of the funnel, which is that lead magnet, to then finally becoming a client at the bottom of the funnel. So once you have this entire system in place where you have the personal brand in, the landing page, the lead magnet, and the follow-up system, now your job is just to create content that generates traffic and pushes people into this funnel. And again, if you're already doing that activity that you love to do, you don't have to go out of the way to create content that you wouldn't normally be creating. All you have to do is take out your phone and start documenting the journey and start documenting some of the things that you're already doing, and you'll be able to use that content to build brand awareness to that target demographic. Now, I'm going to be recording future videos where I explain the exact systems of how you do this from a brand awareness and a content point of view, but I wanted to just give you guys the high-level overview of using that niche marketing to create unlimited leads in your life. If you guys want me to create those videos, just comment content system below and I will start making them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any questions or comments, just drop them below. And as always, if you are enjoying this content, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.